My god, I love this game. Arcane Reborn is a remake of Arcane Adventures, a game I played when I was still legally a child soldier. God, I'm old, that was 8 years ago. The gameplay and story contents are largely the same, and I'm afraid to ask the lore keepers in the Discord what the story differences are. Arcane Reborn's actual content is a One Piece inspired arcane adventure where you, the Peacekeeper, keep the peace via excessive and indiscriminate violence. This could include the magical United Nations because your mentor hated the Antichrist as much as he hated the evil wizard. The game currently has 3 of the 7 Cs because unlike Valve, the devs of the original and the remake can count to 3. The con is that it never got beyond that point in Arcane Adventures before it shut down. There's 4 more Cs worth of content not added, but I expect the game to lose steam by the 4th. And that's why we have the webtoon. There's also ships in this game. I've been mentioning a lot of names and concepts, so let's completely ignore that and talk about the gameplay first. Got 7 source magics. We know talk about mutations, those don't exist yet. Some of them are better than the others. Personally, I use lightning because I wanted to be low tier god, and I used light in the original game. If you want to know all the pros and cons of the magics, I'm not the person to talk to, just consult the Discord. I'm sure they're very nice people, and not insane. You've got your spell archetypes like Shoot Shit, Drinking Nitroglycerin, Command Grab, another command, a shield that can sometimes block magic, and your ultimate. There are differences between all magics, even if it's slight. Lightning's Q does slightly more damage and inflicts damage over time compared to Light's Q. Amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore PvP usage since that's not my department, and completely ignore all magics that are not my own when discussing combat. Anyways, most of these moves have a use in combat, like how jump-based ultimates let you go really high up to climb shit or clip through the ceiling. Amazing game design. There are also weapons, magic and not. The non-magic weapons still have their own niche, like the Doomwood Club and the Colossal Cutlass doing big fuck-off weapon casts. Magic weapons have their own cool shit, but I don't use them so they don't exist in this review. Go consult the PvP gods of the Discord server. Magic weapons can cause status effects depending on the magic selected, and most weapons inflict bleed to varying degrees. Poison exists, but the poison daggers are bad, and so is every dagger in the game. There are also fighting styles. The only ones people use are Impact, Cannon Fist if you're throwing, literally, and Radius for weird people. Your character can use up to 3 magics. Your first magic, you select a character creation. Your second, you get at the end of second C. And your third is after the final dungeon so far. Now that I've sufficiently delayed talking about the story of this game, let's get right into it. But first, I think this game deserves an anime opening. So, I had to make an alt to record all this footage, so be grateful. Almost all the 3rd C stuff is my main replay and bosses, so just suspend your disbelief when you see me change character. Our protagonist wakes up on New Grand Island and starts to be strength. Wait, I'm summarizing the webtoon. Anyways, our yee honky ass, the Peacekeeper, wakes up on Newground Island and is tasked by an old man to kill all the wizards who have gone insane on the island. This old man is Theos, the War Phoenix, a powerful magic user who's about to take the Peacekeeper on Mr. Bones' wild ride through the seas. So after committing some preemptive self-defense using my magic and these hands, Theos tells us to go to Doom Island and gives the Peacekeeper a knife and a rowboat. The village guardian tells us that the chief found a cool stick and went insane. Logically, we go straight to murder and I beat the shit out of him. Okay, so I beat the shit out of him. So being the good order-following individual we are, we go over there and get told that the local crypt full of soldiers is being all wacky and we should probably check it out. Because Arcane Reborn is a very good game, I spend the next 20 minutes stabbing the air to grind stats. Why? Because you can cheese the entire first sea and part of the second using a flintlock pistol. So I pull up, hop out at the after party, with my new gun to the burial tower. Using my newfound abilities, I kill everyone inside in one phase Ramses. Because the lore of what damages curse users versus gameplay is very different. Upon telling Reese that I killed Ramses, he tells me to go to the Skylines from Terraria. So we arrive and immediately get told by a random NPC to investigate a shipwreck because the captain of it started molding and throwing plasma around. When a dying pirate tells us what's up, we decide to report back to the NPC instead of actually solving the problem, because the Peacekeeper follows orders. At least that's what I said after a Blesco. Like Ramses, Verities can just be shot repeatedly. Once I got my kill stolen the first time, I have a sped up version of the fight. So after that, we go to the second sea, and the plot decides to happen. Theos tells the player that in order to unlock their second mind, they need to train by killing 150 gunslingers. Theos must be from the Balkans. Now watch this drive. There isn't a lot of content, I'm essentially doing fetch quests with this guy. Now watch me speedrun shards. Upon returning to Theos, the game throws up a wall and says I need to be higher level to actually progress the story. So after doing all that, Theos decides to teach the protagonist in my favorite way. Beat the shit out of them until they learn. If you think I'm going fast and skipping details, I'm really not. The second sea just doesn't have a lot of content. We're ignoring Sage, by the way. Anyways, welcome to the Theos fight. Hope you know how to block. Now that I've beaten Theos at 10% of his power level, the game decides to cockblock me once again with a level requirement. If you think the pacing is shit, it's cause it is. Now that I'm allowed to progress, I proceed to pick Double Beam purely because I want to be low tier god. Theos also tells us that he's going to Alalia to get the help of Cursebeard because he's a powerful curse user. Also, you like level caps? So I grind up to level 200 after just having to go to level 160, just to talk to a guy and then walk back to Theos. I grinded for hours and killed hundreds of people to have a quick 10-second conversation and go back to Theos. Anyways, when we talk to Theos at Sunset Ravine, he talks about how when he threw hands with Durza the first time, destroyed the world with a few survivors. Also, he explains the absorption curse if you didn't find in the book about it in-game. Durza's ability is straight up plagiarism. He also has dead revival magic, which unlike zombies, are unkillable. Anyways, at Sorelia, I can experience wizard racism in real time while looking for the wizard. Her name is revealed to be Angel, a powerful life magic user who plans on using dead revival to cure her fatherlessness and kill Durza in the process, because her dad used to hand out the belt to the AG before he died. Since reviving a man so powerful he could wipe out the majority of a 600-ship fleet using his curse is a bad idea, Peacekeeper has to stop Angel. I would show you a cool edited montage of the boss fight, like usual, but her AI broke every time I did it, so here's a recreation. Angel partially succeeds, and her dad comes back with the milk and spirit form to beat her ass. Anyways, Morok talks to Angel and gives her Promethean fire or something. I didn't watch the cutscene. Anyways, we now go to Detroit and see the most peaceful day they've had in a year. The villagers are scared of the big fuck-off pyramid because when they sent people to check it out after an earthquake, they didn't come back. We could be meeting up with Theos right now, but alright. Oh boy, another dungeon, and this time with actual loot and value. Pyramid consists of 3.5 sections, and the initial encounter of wiping the ads is the first one. It's honestly pretty mid and consists of training all the melee enemies and spamming Q at the ranged ones. After you do that, you have to go through a maze with help with the wiki, if you're a sane individual.
Peacekeeper. Your Jordans are fake as fuck. Get up out my trap house.
Whatever you say.
Next is Khumn, who dunks on you. Ruin's hand can hit you across the boss room. If you didn't know how to dodge before, it's time to learn. My damage rotation in the footage got nerfed with the deluxe blunderbuss nerf, but musket spam is still good for the entire fight. After hitting Khumn with my go-go gadget switch glock and teaching him why I don't need to lift, we get to progress. If you didn't know how to block or intercept projectiles, time to learn. Thud is probably my favorite boss in the entire game. The margin of error isn't as slim as Prometheus, and he essentially prepares the player for that boss, like Theos. If you know when to block and the timing to intercept his boulders, then the only threat will be his R attack, which doesn't do as much damage as his Q. Magic works best for this boss since he's very mobile compared to the previous ones, and dodges constantly. Opportunities to attack come from him sitting in the air or casting his Q. Okay, he's dead now. Now that we've progressed the storyline, we can now get to the endgame, also known as fighting Prometheus and what do I do after beating Prometheus. Hint, grinding gear for optimal enchantments and PvP.
Before in his entire life.
And there's a note from Theos outside the pyramid that tells us Durza revived a literal god and we need to kill him. In the lore of Arcane Adventures, Prometheus was a god who gave magic to humans for Arguem, and used that shit to become powerful and overthrow Zeus. I don't know, my only exposure to the lore is through people shitposting in the Discord. This guy is not to be fucked with, and will certainly not go down without a fight. Anyways, I'm not going to show the beginning of the dungeon since it's boring and you just kill some dudes. I also didn't record it. There's also an optional boss in this dungeon, but he's not important to the story, so I'll ignore him.
My hands shall relish ending you here and...
So Theos got laid out, and now it's our job to finish the fight. I would say we luckily have his staff, Rival's Hypothesis, helping us, but it's so inconsistent and unhelpful I won't mention it outside of this. Prometheus would be my favorite boss if there wasn't an ad-clear portion of the dungeon before this fight. I even wrote an original battle theme for the guys for a contest in the Discord. Didn't get a dev star though. Prometheus challenges the player by deleting most of their health bar with his more powerful attacks. For example, Promethean Fire Shotgun. The shotgun does around 2k damage and inflicts burn that overpowers your regeneration and can be extinguished. He also has 3 homing balls of sun, like Theos. It's almost like cheesing the magic wield in bosses leaves you unprepared for this fight. He also has a command grab that punishes you for not being mobile. When he gets to half health, he decides to stop fucking around and enters phase 2. The second phase has some new moves and increased damage. Instead of making sun magic rain down, he uses Promethean fire. You see, this would be very difficult, but through the power of making it to the second phase without dying, and Arcane Reborn being very well coded, I'm able to kill him. That's not video editing, by the way, that's the actual audio of me beating the time to the music. So now we go find Theos about to die, and he says some shit and gives us our third magic. We're supposed to get our third magic in the 4th sea or something, but the game isn't finished. I guess it's now time for my score on this game. I would rate Arcane Reborn objectively as a 7.5 out of 10, but this is heavily biased. In terms of subjective, I give it a childhood out of 10. I'm completing a game I played when I was a child. It's been like 7 years since Arcane Adventures released, and I never got to beat it before it closed down. Overall, Arcane Reborn's a game I recommend to beat, but not to play. The post-story content is PvP and grinding for rare gear with enchants, so if that's your thing, go ahead. The story isn't bad for a Roblox game, and there's plenty of lore out there for those who want it. There's also a webtoon that exists, and I highly recommend it. Even if you don't play the game, you should read it. It covers what actually happens in the game through the lens of Juniper, the Peacekeeper. Very solid. I'm incredibly biased because it gives me the same emotions as Regan the Warrior as an adult. Nostalgia and dopamine. But instead of me getting sick of the moment and or becoming a furry, I say that Ruben is Crimson One and therefore my new Literally Me character. I'm not very good at the PvP in this game, and I do not want to learn. It requires all of my brain power to not instantly eat a combo, and my aim is a theoretical concept. It also has a lot to do with magic combinations, and I refuse to change my magics. I also don't want to commit to learning because the last time I got really good at a game, that didn't end too well. We don't talk about that. Hey y'all, thanks for watching. This video took a couple months because of procrastination, so I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know when my next review will be, or what it'll be on, or if there'll be a second one at all. Couldn't tell, the editing and script are very based off Maxor, Seth Scene Tech, and some others.